Welcome to video number 1, part 3 on the continuation of FUTA and SUTA tax. So we are on employer, well not employer, but we're in scenario number 3. And so in number 3, an employer in Dover, Delaware employs 2 people whose taxable earnings to date prior to current pay period are $52.50 and $17,240. During the current pay period, these employees earned $2,500 and $1,870 respectively. The applicable SUTA tax rate is 5.5%, and the 2013 Delaware SUTA tax threshold is $18,500. Okay, so let's go ahead and first of all dictate whether this employee or these employees reside in a state that has a credit reduction, and they do because they reside in the state of Delaware. So it'll be at 1.2%. And so let's go ahead and calculate SUTA. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take the 7,000. I'm going to subtract up to date what they have made. So up to date amount left taxable under FUTA. Okay, so basically what I did was I took 7,000, subtract what they've made up to date, and this is the amount that's left that's taxable under SUTA. And so far, this period, this first employee has made $2,500. So instead of the $2,500 being taxed, only $1,750 is taxed. So I'm going to take $1,750 times the 1.5%. For, excuse me, 1.2%, for a total FUTA tax of $21 for employee number 1. For SUTA tax, let's go ahead and do the same thing. So far to date, the employee has made $5,280. And the threshold is $18,000, so clearly $2,500 is taxable under the SUTA tax rate of 5.5%. For a total of $137.50 for the SUTA tax rate. There's no restrictions yet. Well, clearly the employee has not yet reached the threshold, because so far they've only made $5,250, so we don't need to dictate whether part or all of it is taxable under SUTA. For employee number 2, for FUTA taxes, 7,000 minus, so far they've made $17,240. Okay, they're well over, so I'm not even going to make a calculation. Go ahead and dictate that the FUTA tax for this employee number 2 is 0. For SUTA, so far the employee has made $17,240, and I'm going to subtract $18,500, or the other way around. Let's do that so it doesn't confuse you later. $18,500, subtract what they've made so far from the previous period, and that's going to give us the amount that we still have left to tax. Amount left taxable under SUTA. Okay, and they've made this period $1,870. So because they've made more this period than what is taxable, and this is the amount that's taxable under SUTA, instead of taking $1,870 to be taxable under SUTA at the rate of 5.5%, I'm just going to take $1,260 times 5.5%, because not the entire wages, gross wages, are taxable under SUTA, because the person or the employees have already reached the $18,500 once the $1,260 is added to their year-to-date of $17,240. Okay, so that's that one for number 3. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on to number 4. Go down. Okay, number 4. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. An employer in Columbia, South Carolina employs 3 employees whose taxable earnings to date prior to the current pay period are, I'm going to move this up a little bit. Oops, I can't. There we go. It blocks out these dates. Okay, are 45,500, 19,000, 1,900, and 4,500. During the current pay period, these employees earned 4,200, 3,500, and 2,700 respectively. The applicable SUTA tax rate is 2.2%, and the 2013 South Carolina SUTA threshold is 12%. Okay, I just went in and added these in here so that I don't waste the time in putting them down. All right, so let's say go ahead. Let's look at FUTA. Okay, so for the first employee, so far they've made 45,500. So we know that they're going to owe 0 liability, or the employer is going to owe 0 liability under FUTA tax. Okay. SUTA tax, it's going to be the same result as they've already arrived at 45,500 or made 45,500, and the threshold is only 12,000. Okay. FUTA tax for the second employee. So far they've made 1,900. Okay. And the threshold is 7,000. So if we go ahead and add 1,900 to 3,500, that is not quite the threshold. So we're going to go ahead and calculate that against the entire amount, which is $21. And as you may have seen, the state of South Carolina is not located in any of the credit reduction states, so we're going to multiply by 0.6%. Okay, that gives us $21 in FUTA tax. For SUTA taxes, the employee is clearly not above the threshold or anywhere near the threshold so far yet. So we're going to take the entire 3,500 times the SUTA tax percent of 2.2%. to get us to an amount of $77 for SUTA taxes for employee number 2. That covers employee number 2. Employee number 3, so far they've made $4,500, and this period they've made $2,007. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go ahead and subtract. Subtract $7,000 from $4,500, what they've made so far. And let's see how much is taxable under FUTA. Looks like $2,500. Okay, still taxable under FUTA. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that $2,500 and multiply by the 0.6%, because even though they made $2,700, only $2,500 is taxable, to get to a $15 FUTA tax liability. For SUTA, the threshold is clearly at $12,000, and the employee is not or will not reach that $12,000 in this pay period. So the entire $2,700 will be taxable under the 2.2% tax rate for SUTA for the amount of $59.40. Okay, so that's how you calculate FUTA and SUTA taxes. You may go ahead and tune in for the next video for this chapter.